Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Ladies and gentlemen, this podcast today is brought to you by our Patreon page. Visit patreon.com/Gear Network. That's Patreon, patreon.com/GERE Network. And look over the memberships to subscribe. For as little as $1 a month, you could receive this podcast and every other podcast from January 1st of 2020 onward, completely commercial-free, as well as advanced releases of every podcast. If you sign up for as little as $3.50 or more, you not only get that tier, but you also get exclusive podcasts, exclusive content, including the brand new GNE podcast, Gear Network exclusive podcast. Again, patreon.com/Gear Network, completely commercial-free and exclusive content. Do it right now for as little as $1 a month.
The following is a presentation of the Gear Radio Network.
Hey, this is H.C. Loke. You're checking out the All Bets Are Off podcast with Robbie Vegas.
All right, Rock Soldiers, welcome back to another episode of the All Bets Are Off podcast. And today, my guest is Hellcat. I'm going to say the legend keeps growing. Maybe we'll dig into some of that. Maybe we won't. But let's just start back at the beginning. So thank you for joining me.
I appreciate you having me. Let's get right in it.
I've been looking forward to this one. So before I ask you any questions, though, we got to plug our sponsor, UnchainedMuscle.uk. Go to the website. RVegas20 saves you 20%. It's tank tops, gym bags, shorts, leggings, whatever you need, and they donate to mental health charity when you make your purchase. So that being said, let's talk wrestling. So what year did you actually start training to get into the wrestling business?
The year was, oh my goodness, let's see, year 24, go back 24, 1995, 96.
Okay, cool. So what made you get into wrestling to begin with?
My grandfather, actually, he was a diehard WWF. I'm old, people. I'm old. Actually, today I'm 50. The apocalypse is coming. I was born on Friday the 13th, 1970.
Well, happy birthday.
Old. But yeah, my grandfather, he would tell me stories when I got a little older, how he literally would put me in front of a TV with a bottle in my mouth and watch wrestling.
So you were watching from before you even had memories?
Yeah. I mean, my earliest memory, like wrestler-wise, goes back, you see The Rock and his relatives. I watched his grandfather, High Chief Peter Maivia, wrestle. That's how old I am. I mean, I go back to the Gorilla and San Martino's, and I'm old school all day.
Okay, cool. So that being said, because you're old school, I'm going to jump right in this next question. You used to be a branch of NWA. So now we're Upstate Pro Wrestling, and I say we just because I'm part of the roster.
For now.
But, yeah, right. So were you also a head trainer for that too? When it was NWA Upstate? I
started the Kayfabe Dojo.
Okay.
In 2003.
Okay, so you were already in the business, 7, 8, 9 years before?
Before I opened my own school.
Okay.
My schooling, I went through, actually I was trained in Florida, the majority of my training by Dory Funk Jr.
Oh, okay.
So, but my initial, very first time in a ring, I was at a flea market in Ohio. I used to be heavy into baseball cards and trading cards and buying and selling. And I just happened to be at a flea market. Always, again, been a fan of wrestling my whole life.
Right.
Always dreamt of being a wrestler. I'm 5'6". I'm not going to ever be a wrestler. Let's just admit it back then.
Yeah.
No goddamn way.
So you didn't even think you were going to try it?
No. Okay. I didn't even know the dad was at flea market. Mm-hmm. I was going to buy baseball cards.
Gotcha. Okay.
and sell baseball cards. Well, there was this ragtag group of guys who were setting up a wrestling ring at this flea market in 1995.
Okay.
And I just was like, that was the coolest thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I had never been to a live event. I used to get the magazines, and back in the day, the old magazines would have that ad.
Oh, yeah.
You would fill out if you wanted to.
It was like a mail-in.
And be a pro wrestler kind of thing. And if you're 6 foot whatever, and I'm like, well, I'm 5 foot nothing, so I guess I'm not going to send that ad in.
Yeah.
And it was actually famed jobber Barry Hardy.
Oh, okay.
Was part of the show that was going on, and it was 2 Puerto Ricans that ran the promotion. And I'm Spanish, by the way, half.
Mm-hmm. And this is in Florida?
No, this was in Ohio.
Oh, this was in Ohio. Okay.
So I lived in Ohio at the time. Born and raised in Ohio, actually. Ashtabula, never heard of it. It's somewhere near Cleveland, for those who don't know. So I go to this flea market by myself. I'm just chilling out. I'm already 25 years old.
Okay.
And, again, never thought I'd wrestle. Mm-hmm. So I'm watching it get set up. And then Barry Hardy approached me. He's like, what do you think? And I'm like, man, it's the coolest thing I've ever seen. Mm-hmm. And they're like, oh, we're opening a training facility in Rochester, New York. I'm like, he goes, you want to learn how to wrestle? I'm like, fuck yeah, I do. And I stayed there all day. But in actuality, Barry was just wrestling. But the guys who ran the promotion, and I can't remember the ring name. He went by Freddie Firpo. But here's the confusion. There's a Hall of Famer, old-timer that wrestled. Mm-hmm. But people tell me that it was that guy, but I don't think it was that guy. But long story short, he lived in Rochester. They were like, come on down. So I traveled from Ohio to Rochester. It was about a 4-hour drive. Okay. I show up. There's no goddamn ring. I'm like, I'm here to train, mm-hmm. and there's no ring. I'm in the ghetto of Rochester, New York. The guy has me show up at his house.
Oh, wow.
The ring's not set up. But in the ghetto of Rochester, his house was in the back. There was an abandoned storefront, like a building in front of his house.
Okay.
I literally, and I shit you not, he brought me in this abandoned, like, bodega jump-off grocery store and threw carpet padding down on the ground, and I learned how to bump on a concrete floor with carpet padding.
Oh, my God. How did you even make it through that?
The first day I woke up after my first training, I couldn't get out of bed. I was in a hotel room.
Oh, okay.
And I woke up and I thought my neck was broke.
Yeah, but you went back.
But I missed a part of it. I had brought my father with me, who's Spanish, who would translate for me because these guys barely spoke English.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I wake up and my dad, I'm like, I can't fucking move. I'm like, I thought my neck was broke.
Yeah.
I went back home and I debated and I was like, I don't know, you know. Mm-hmm. I went back the next week. Again, they had me doing rolls and bumps on a concrete floor. So then Barry Hardy, who was involved in it, shortly got a hold of me. Because at that point, I'm like, I don't think I can do this.
Yeah.
I'm learning how to pro wrestle on a concrete floor.
Right, yeah.
Like, these guys it's a joke, right? I didn't know any better.
And they were taking money from you. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Barry Hardy said he was going to open a school. And I'm like, okay. Mm. Well, he did and actually had a ring. So I started training under him here in Rochester.
Oh, that was also here.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I would travel every weekend. Mm-hmm. I would leave bright and early, like Saturday mornings. I would head out at like 4 a.m. to get here by 10, 11 when class would start. And I would sleep in the ring and just basically nowhere else to go. I'm not going to drive back home to come back Sunday to train. So I would sleep in the ring, get up, whatever, train, and then drive home, work my Monday through Friday job, and then Saturday do it all over again.
How long did that go on for?
For about 6 months, until one day I showed up at training. We won't get into the shoot about why the school was closed. Okay. Because I don't want to piss a lot of people off. But someday I'll tell the true story of how I was actually trained. Which, long story short, not very good training. Found out that school was shut down by opening a door walking into the school, seeing the ring up on bricks, like somebody stole the rims off your car.
Oh my God.
Because the rent wasn't paid.
Oh, wow.
And the landlord decided to come in and go, you don't pay your goddamn rent. I'll take a ring post and a couple ropes.
Wow.
And so there goes another training session down the tubes.
So does this take you to Florida?
That got me down to Florida.
And this was the real training?
The real training
deal.
And the real deal.
And you said Dory Funk.
Dory Funk Jr.
Okay. Which obviously everybody knows is the man. So
well, yeah.
He was working with WWE
at the time, the Funky Conservatory. And
right.
then, a lot of guys, I can't remember exactly who, but I think Angle was there, like, classes before me. And, he was producing
a lot of their talent.
A lot of talent, and they were looking at it. But again, that shut down. Again, we can shoot. It may be false. It could be true.
That shut down while you were there?
No, I still think it may be still going on.
Yeah.
But at that time, the Fed was looking at guys from Dory's.
Okay.
But then it became a big money thing where now dudes that were clearly not good, but paying money to train, and now you're sending these guys towards the Fed or their footage, and you're losing all credibility because now it's a money grab.
So you're doing the Carney thing is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He's working people for cash at that time.
Gotcha. So you relocated, I would assume, because you're training in Florida. How long were you down there?
Off and on for like a year.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
Okay, so now, when did you actually start working matches? It was in 95?
96.
96. Was there still like what was left of the territories going on, or what was...
No, territories and stuff were... there were the NWA territories still pretty... Okay. But by the time the 90s came, the big wigs, the big companies have already already been long gone.
That changed the game, WCW.
NWA still thought they had territories, but...
Right, okay.
Did they? Who knows? Sure.
That being said, though, who are some memorable people that you've been in the ring with over the years? Because that's going back to 1996, and we're in 2020 right now. So, especially from those early years, who are people you cross paths with that are, notable?
Be honest, nobody.
Really?
Honestly, the early part of my wrestling career was, oh my God, I worked guys, that never really took off in wrestling. What was it? Josh Wilcox played for the Saints. He was down in school with me at the time.
Oh, okay.
He'd been injured in the NFL. He was a tight end, I believe, for the New Orleans Saints.
Okay.
He was down there during my training. But as far as those training years and those first early matches, Adam Windsor, nobody probably even knows that name. But he was supposed to be the next Owen Hart, according to, he was the end-all be-all. He was the golden boy down there. And I worked him and, like I said, Wilcox, who was the former Saint guy, who went on actually to play for, I think, L.A. in the original XFL.
Oh, really? Wow. Okay.
So, I got better stories outside of us wrestling than I do us wrestling.
Yeah.
Because weekends down in Florida, we would go down to Tampa and clubs and drugs and fucking, it was the 90s, man.
Things were different.
It was way different now.
So you would say some of your most memorable opponents will come in later years then?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Who were some of the
I've wrestled everyone from Marty Jannetty to Kamala to Scotty Tuhati to I feel half the roster of ECW from Douglas to Doring to FBI to over the years it's
So you've also had a hand in training a lot of guys. So who are some of your most memorable trainees?
The two standouts, are that have come through my area that have worked out of my dojo, would have been Colin Delaney and Brody Lee, a.k.a. Luke Harper, are the two most notable guys that have come out of my school.
So Luke Harper is one that I actually wanted to talk to you about because not too long ago, I was watching, formerly known as, on the WWE Network.
Yes, I was on the WWE Network. So I have been on WWE TV, or at least their internet radar one time.
I wanted to ask you about that because I didn't know you were on it. I just put it on because, obviously, when I had first started coming around the indie scene, Brody was one of the first guys that I had met and talked to about starting this journey. It was right before he got signed. So.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to watch that just because I knew he was one of, the Rochester guys. And I see you on there. So how did that come about? Did he call you? Did WWE
WWE reached out to me and was like, hey, we're doing this series. It's a 5-part. Is it cool we come in and talk to you? We're going to have Luke come in. We're going to follow him the day in the life and where he trained and where he got to start and wanted to know. And I'm like, hell yeah, I do. Come on in. So, I mean, my one actual official appearance after, as of today, 24 years officially. So I had my first match the weekend of my 26th birthday.
Oh, okay.
And now today is the weekend of my 50th birthday. So as of this weekend, I turned 50, and it's my 24th year wrestling.
So for that time frame when you actually started wrestling, was that a late start, 26?
Oh, yeah, it's old.
That was considered older then, right? Because now I feel like with guys getting signed later and later.
With my school now, my God, my roster is made up of 18, 19, 20. Half my roster ain't even old enough to drink.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
They're babies.
Since we're talking about them, I'll skip to that question because you have the Flower City Wrestling Academy going right now. And they're just popping up like amazing talent in matches constantly. So how did that come about for you? Like, when did you decide to just roll with the training? You changed the name. It's not the Kayfabe Dojo anymore. And it seems like it's getting bigger. So where did that come from?
Well, we had been known as the Kayfabe Dojo since 2003. And it's funny because the original dojo, started in a garage.
Oh, okay.
A 3-car garage that I rented from a friend of mine that his dad was in real estate. Rented me a 3-car garage. I bought a ring. And again, I could talk about this story for 3 hours. Because, I mean, I was supposed to go partners with Ian Decay, who's...
Oh, yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody knows who Ian is. But he decided he was going to go do his own thing, and I'm like, all right, well, I don't have a partner, but I still want to do this. Because at that time, between like I said, that when I started 2003 with the school and the promotion, there was nothing here in Rochester.
Okay.
The wrestling was non-existent. So we were going to go partners together and try to get something going. Well, long story short, he kind of went off and decided one day he was going to do his own thing.
Okay.
I went and checked it out. I was like, there's nothing we talked about. So I was like, I'll go do something on my own. And again, without a 4-hour story, my place ended up moving out of the garage and growing. But at that time, a lot of the guys were split. Like Luke would spend some time at mine, some time at the other one.
Okay.
They were known as Rochester Pro Wrestling.
Gotcha.
And I started mine under the Kayfabe Dojo.
Got it. Okay.
But we were both doing kind of illegal shows at the time because there was a commission, but it's not like it was now. You could go throw a ring up somewhere and there wasn't somebody calling on you or...
Right, yeah. We
all minded our own business. We just did what we wanted, no problems. And then as egos came into it, mine including, I mean, I'm not going to lie, I've had anybody that listening has no clue who I am, I'm sure, but I'm the most evil. I am the Antichrist.
You have a reputation.
But I protect what's mine and who's with me. And I had that mentality. Ride together, die together.
Yeah.
You're against me? Fuck you. And I tell it like it is. And people don't like the truth. And the truth, to me, is funny. But most people get pissed when the truth comes out.
Right.
And then they find anything they can hate on. People hate on me from everything from being a fucking chauvinist, pig, cheater. I got through 5 wives. Listen, we all got skeletons, baby. And one day you and I will sit down and I'll open a whole lot of closets. Because I'm not the only evil one out there.
Yeah.
But, you can,
I mean, me personally, I've
never had an issue.
Ever. And I've known you for, 5 years now, probably.
And you've never really seen that evil guy that's supposed to be out there.
No, but I heard
the ones that spread
before I met you.
Oh, yeah. My bark is much worse than my bite. I don't take shit from nobody, but in the same sense, you don't come at me crooked, we're good.
Yeah.
I'm the most laid-back, fun-loving fucking... Let's smoke some fucking weed. I'm old school.
All right.
Just have a good time.
I'm going to tell you a story now. I had heard about you long before I met you. So when I finally met you, we may have been at OSPW, because this was a while ago.
I think I did a couple shows back in the day.
Yeah. And I think they were just bringing me in from somewhere else just for like we're going to be closing soon. We're going to bring in some different kind of people, mix things up kind of thing. And I had met you there. And I didn't have any problems with you, but I'd also never worked with you. Yeah. And those were the stories that I was hearing. So the first time that we had to work against each other, I was fucking terrified.
Everyone thinks I'm going to beat the shit out of him. I'm 5'6", 170 pounds on a diet day. And I feel that so many people perceive me as this giant killer. I'm going to beat you up. I'm going to do this. No, I know how to work. And I'll make it look like I'm kicking the dog shit out of you.
Well, that was the thing. I was putting pressure on myself also because I wanted to work here.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I heard you were a hard ass, so I have to impress. And I have to be on my fucking game. And I was having a heart attack just leading up to that just because I wanted to work here.
Yeah.
And I heard all these stories, and it's like, wash the chops and like all this stuff. And I took them, and it is what it is. It's pro wrestling.
I chop people. I like to chop.
Yeah.
I'll take it right back.
Right, exactly.
You can't take a chop in this business. Get the fuck out.
You actually told me that in the ring. I don't even know if you remember, but you threw me in the corner and you lit me up a little bit and you were like, throw some back. And it ended up being a good match, and I've been on good terms with you ever since. We never had an issue.
It's the ones that don't like me, don't like my opinion, or don't believe in what I believe in. And let's be honest, those dudes don't mean a goddamn thing. They're a bunch of keyboard warriors. I'm not going to drop names. They know who they are. I'm not going to dedicate a podcast to them because they're irrelevant. They don't matter to me. I've lived my life the way I want to. Live their life the way they want to. Whatever, man.
To be honest with you, like, you say that, and I know there's stories and, drama and stuff like that, but I don't even know who they are because I stay out of everything with everyone.
Exactly.
So, like, people are like, there's heat here and there's heat here, but I never know who it's with. Or
I don't talk about it. I don't... Yeah.
And nobody talks about it openly, so I don't know who they are.
Yeah.
For all I know, I'm in two circles.
Like I said, they and I'm not just talking about a couple here or there. I'm talking about generally. Dudes want to pop off the mouth about, oh, he's not a good dude here, he's done this, he's done that. Worry about your own goddamn closet. Because I got stories on people that I could blow their fucking minds right now. Yeah. I could have a whole lot of heat today. I mean, I know who slept with who did whose wife's, girlfriends, mothers, brothers, cheated, didn't cheat, did this, did that. There's dudes that fucking shit on me for shit I do. Well, you're right along with me.
That's how they know the story.
But back then,
yeah,
you were okay with it because you were with me. Now you don't believe in it. Now you're against me. Now I'm the Antichrist again.
That sounds like pro wrestling.
It's pro wrestling, baby. All day.
Well, I mean, okay, so that being said, let's tie this back in because this is your 24th year. So how long do you see yourself being an active wrestler? Because you're still having matches.
Barely. But
I consider that
active. Like, I haven't wrestled in like 6 months.
Yeah.
I'm never going to retire. Mm-hmm. Let's just admit it. We never retire. Maybe if you're forced to and you're really, I mean, do we ever retire?
No.
Everyone's got a condition that they'll never wrestle again.
Yeah.
5 years from now, you get a bug up your ass and you miss it, and now you're fucking cured and you're wrestling again. Whether it's one show, 10 shows, a half a show, we never quit.
Yeah.
So I have pretty much backed off of working.
Yeah.
Because I feel that after 24 years, I hit my peak in my late 30s, going into my 40s. I've had a really good run. Won national belts. I traveled more than I had ever.
Did you do matches for Ring of Honor too? Dark
yep,
matches? Yeah,
yep.
That's what I thought.
And this was all in my 40s.
Yeah. I
mean, I hit my real stride in my 40s, and I went hard in the paint. And today at 50 now, that last 10 years, I'm a hot mess. Like, I stopped, and I knew it was going to happen, because once you stop, you have time to, like, I don't know, injuries catch up then. I don't know.
You start to feel it.
I never had knee problems. I never had shoulder problems. I never had, now that I kind of getting older and less athletic and, just kind of stepping back, because again, this business has become a young man's sport. I'm a dinosaur. I get it.
But has this business become a young man's sport? Because look at some of the guys that are on top right now.
Exactly. Now it's kind of starting to change again.
Yeah.
And I made a comment that to some of the younger kids this past week. I go, guys better start worrying, because a whole lot of 40, 50-year-olds, 70-year-olds are coming back. God.
I mean, think about it. AJ Styles is, 43? You know, you got Brock Lesnar,
Ricky Morton, Rock and Roll Express. They're booked all over the place.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nobody probably even knew who those guys were 10 years ago.
That's true.
No offense. I know them. So I'm 50 years old. But you go out here right now and probably have a year ago ask who the Rock and Roll Express are. No, that's my biggest beef with the younger generation. They have no fucking clue what happened in the past.
Yeah, they don't.
They know what happened in the last 8 years when they discovered wrestling.
Yeah.
Go look what guys have done, whether it's superstars, shitty guys like me, up and down the roads for 20-something years. They have no clue.
Yeah.
And that's what pisses me off. Because the way things are, I like a variety. I don't mind comedy matches. I don't dislike hard-hitting matches. I just don't care for choreographed, beginning to end, let's do a dance. It's cool looking.
Yeah.
These dudes are fucking beyond athletic. I wish I could do that, but it's not what I enjoy. Someone else may enjoy it, and, you know, it's just, that makes me feel like a dinosaur. I'm used to watching. And I mean, you go back in time when I watch wrestling, a lot of that I watch now and go, oh my God, that's terrible.
Oh, really?
Oh, I think some of the bigger, I'm not going to name names.
Yeah.
I mean, name names, as in, like, superstar Hall of Famers. You go watch a lot of those guys work back in the day. They weren't good.
Right.
Those matches were terrible.
Yeah.
Like, the psychology, I mean, there were stars. I mean, Steamboat, Savage, those guys could work.
Yeah.
But there's a whole lot of guys in that era, too, that were hot garbage.
I gotta say, I've noticed that, too, going back and watching.
Hot garbage.
Yeah. You don't see the proper selling or, like, the
match psychologies or the breakdowns or dude just getting beat up for real because these guys didn't know how to wrestle.
Yeah, it's come a long way.
Yeah.
Well, that being said, though, you've been a promoter since what year?
2003.
So what made you get into that side of things?
There was no wrestling here in Rochester.
Oh, so that's what actually
I was a worker, and I'm like, we don't have anything here to call our own.
Okay.
And I mean, I came into the indie promoter business at a time where there was internet, but you would have to go send a VHS tape in, find an actual address and send it to someone, or go to a show and stalk someone and try to get work.
Gotcha.
It was none of this YouTube and, you know, easy access to showcase yourself. It was get your car and travel or send in a goddamn VHS.
Gotcha. Now, and that was in 2003, so you've been a promoter for 17 years.
Yep.
That's insane to me. But you've also run a very successful company. Like a few months back, even some guys from Ring of Honor just came just to watch. Yep. So what's your like secret to running a successful company for that long? Because I've seen a lot of places fold instantly.
Again, rule with an iron fist. Don't take shit from no one. I honestly couldn't give you a straight answer. I guess the legend continues. Why? I don't know why. I said I'd do it for 5. 5 came. Then I said I was going to do it for 10. 10 has come and gone. We're at year 17.
Right. And about to have the anniversary show.
Yep. 17-year anniversary in 2 months.
Okay.
Unless the common cold shuts my show down.
Right.
Which, just for you out there to know, I probably, this weekend, March 14th, the Antichrist Hellcat, who was born on 3/13, Friday the 13th to be exact. The country's shut down. I don't think there is a wrestling event going on anywhere this weekend, and I'm going to run. Sorry.
And your guys showed up.
They're here. We'll see.
Yeah.
I'm going to be the most rebellious man in the world or the most ridiculous promoter ever.
Well, that being said, on piggybacking off of that, is what do you find your biggest accomplishment to be in this business up to now?
Longevity.
Yeah, I figured. That's why I was piggybacking off of that one. So do you still have like a bucket list of things you want to do, or are you just enjoying your time?
I'm just riding it out, to be honest. I'd like to hit 20, and I'm hoping, I'm not going to lie, I've already put it out there. If I get to 20, I'd like to walk away, maybe sell it off to someone else who I think can take it and run, hopefully for another 20 years with their vision.
Okay.
So it could be, this promotion could be around 3 more years, 3 more months, 30 years. Hey, if I knew the future, I'd bet on it, and I'd have a whole lot of money, and I'd quit today.
Did you always plan on being in the game for this long?
No. I didn't think it would last past 5 years.
No, I don't mean as a promoter. I just mean in the business in general. Did you always plan on being around this long?
No, I didn't even think I'd ever be a wrestler.
Okay.
So 24 years later, I've probably had one of the longest running promotions anywhere, whether it be as part of the NWA.
Yeah.
And now we're no longer that. Again, I could dedicate a 4-hour podcast on just stories of the NWA.
Right.
Who screwed who, how they screwed me, how I hate them, how I may or may not know where certain belts are, or you can erase my Wikipedia history, but I was the last NWA North American Tag Champ.
So,
anyways,
so your end game wasn't always to be a promoter. It was just you didn't.
My end game was collecting baseball cards.
And here you are now, 24 years in, still going strong with a company that's been run for 17 years.
My life
that's pretty impressive.
actually started as a hoodlum kid who became a cop, who quit being a cop, who became a pro wrestler, became a promoter, and here I am today.
And on that note, we're going to end because that was fucking awesome. So just plug your social media, upcoming events.
I don't know, something. Just look up Hellcat. I'm too goddamn old to remember all the hashtags and whatnot. Give us a like. UpstateProWrestling.com. Hey, man, just keep supporting wrestling. Keep the dream alive. Keep the dream alive.
I appreciate you being on. I really do. And thank you for being the first promoter to actually put some faith in me and put some steam behind me. I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, take it easy. I'm going to go eat KFC now.
The preceding presentation has been brought to you by the Gear Network. Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Do you like sports, interactive polls, friendly banter from two guys that probably shouldn't even be on the microphone doing this stuff anyways? Well, if you do, then you're in luck. Us two knuckleheads, Brandon and myself, comprise the Listen In Podcast. That's right, Listen In, the podcast. We're talking sports, we're talking news, we're talking topical things, we're talking all sorts of things, my babies, and you are all invited to listen in right here on the Gear Radio Network.